Are you constantly doing things? Do you have a hard time sitting still or just being present or doing nothing? Well, it's possible that you're addicted to doing. Let's take a deeper look. Hi, I'm Ashton. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, and today I want to talk to you about a lesser-known addiction, addicted to doing. So addiction in general has a few characteristics across the board. The first characteristic is that addiction is an attempt to avoid painful feelings. So that can be a conscious attempt, like I'm going to drink away these feelings because my partner cheated on me, or I'm going to eat this tub of ice cream because I didn't get the job. And often these ways of coping are learned in childhood. So my mom, when I was a kid, if I were upset about something, she would say, "Would you like a half a tranquilizer?" So what does that do? That teaches our children that the way we deal with painful feelings is to give them a half a tranquilizer. It was always a half. It was never a whole. I'm laughing at the absurdity of it. So we want to teach our children healthy coping skills, not to eat a tub of ice cream, not to take a half a tranquilizer. But, if we're teaching our 6-year-old Samantha right now, breathing techniques, there are specifically designed breathwork techniques for kids to help them manage their big emotions. The first characteristic is avoiding painful feelings. And sometimes we're conscious of that, like I just talked about, drinking away this hurt or eating away that hurt. And sometimes it's not super conscious, like technology can be an example. Being addicted to your phone is so rampant and is such an issue, especially with our youth. And with adults too, and especially with our youth, it's become a real problem. And actually in the East and China, it's become such a problem that the government has put limitations on phone use in kids. And it's between 40 minutes and 2 hours a day, depending on your age. In the US, actually, the recommended amount of screen time is an hour or less. So if it's conscious, like drinking away a feeling, or not so conscious, like I'm going to be on my phone, or I'm going to do so that I'm distracting myself from being present. So the addicted to doing and the being on the cell phones is probably not a conscious choice that you don't want to feel. Although that's exactly what it is. It's a distraction from being present. The second characteristic that addiction has in common is that it's impossible or challenging, or you can't quit, right? How many times have we said, "This is my last drink," or "It's my last hurrah," or I'm not going to eat sugar for a month or 6 months. And maybe it works for a little while, and then it slowly creeps back in. Unless we've dealt with the underlying what's going on, or we have tools, addiction always creeps back in. And that's why the rate of relapse is so very high. Okay, so what's this addicted to doing? It is a distraction from being present. Well, what's the deal with being present, Ashton says, or what's the problem with being present? Being present, being in the here and now, is when our stuff comes up. It's when feelings that maybe we didn't even know were there, thoughts that we don't want to deal with, limiting beliefs start to surface. And so we distract ourselves from the present moment by being on our phone, by constantly doing something. Why is this so difficult for highly sensitive people? Because we notice things, we sense the subtleties in our environment. So we can be even more inclined to do things because we're noticing everything. I have another video on why are HSPs so exhausted, and it's about this very thing. HSPs are also more likely to have addiction issues. The research is out about that. And my research with my patients, addiction is high. Why? Because we feel things so deeply. So what do you do about this addicted to doing? Well, first, you got to become aware of it. The first step to solving any problem, you have to be aware that it's even a problem. The second thing I would want you to do is to take a look at why. Why am I addicted to doing? What am I distracting myself from? Why do I find it challenging to be present with myself? And then the third thing, I want you to practice just being. Start with once a day. Make it doable. 5 minutes, 15 minutes. Right now I'm just I can hear my clock ticking. I couldn't hear that before because I was talking, I was doing. Listen to the birds. Hear the birds, right? Sometimes we don't even hear them, much less listen to them. So there's a difference between hearing and listening. I can hear something, but I'm not really listening to it. Those are the 3 steps I want you to practice. Become aware if you're addicted to doing. You could use the same thing could apply with screen time, being on your phone. That you could use the 2 interchangeably. Then I want you to think about, why in the heck do I want to distract myself in the first place? And the third thing, I want you to practice being. I remember one of my first therapists said, she wrote on a paper and she said, just be. I was like, I don't even know what this means, just be. That was a long time ago. I know what that means now, but even to this day, I find it really challenging. That's why meditation is challenging for so many of us, because we're just being. So if you find this information valuable or helpful, please like the video and consider subscribing. It really does help the content reach more people just like you. And remember, when you understand your sensitivity, you too can claim it as your greatest asset.